if your Corona score is right, I'll meet with you. This is crazy. And that's, something, there is no Corona score. But it is crazy that it's, may come to something like that, right? I was halfway joking when I had told a client that I had previously canceled a meeting with, hey man, if your Corona score is right, we can meet, right? And then lots of laughs on that. But the thing is that people are getting so squirmish right now with meetings and getting so squirmish with, groups of folks obviously meeting, and the governor in Michigan at least, saying, hey, if you're going to meet, have 250 some people or more, you're not having that conference. And we started talking about, my client and I started talking about all of the effects, financial effects that's going to have, right, on his business, that has on my business. I'm in the teaching profession, right? So some of the in-person teaching that I was doing has gotten canceled. Well, get this. Here are some things that we can do to start overcoming what's going to affect our cash flow. And we really have to get after this. I put together a PowerPoint, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the things that we can do to overcome what's going to be a serious cash flow crunch because of the coronavirus. Now, again, saying what's your Corona score right now is just fiction. But who knows? This thing gets bad enough. They develop small kits. I'm waiting for that entrepreneur that says, hey, I found a way to take a swab real quick and show you instant results of your Corona score, right? So anybody listening to this and you're, getting after it pretty good, then maybe you can be the one that develops that kit. So that would ensure folks a safe meeting. I don't know, just saying. I'll show you the PowerPoint that I put together that speaks to what to do if the coronavirus is crushing your cash flow. We'll talk to you inside. Is the coronavirus crushing your cash flow? But I can say at the top of this, is the coronavirus crushing your cash flow? I can tell you, if you are not feeling well, one of the things I want to say is just get better, bro. Stay home, feel better. We need you healthy. You can get to your wealthy, but be wise about this thing. It is throwing a lot of people for a loop, and it is really, really hurting folks. But hope is not lost. What I want to talk about today is ways you can protect your income, protect your cash flow despite Corona, right? We want to throw the finger up at Corona. So let's talk a little bit about that. How you can protect your cash flow, right? Now, protecting yourself is going to be the obvious thing. Being able to stay home and recover, right? But at the same time, let's talk about some things that might help you protect your cash flow. Why is that important? Hey, I'm Randy Otterbridge, the owner of websites, blogs, books, and initiatives to help you monetize your life and maximize your business. And I am always creating something with the idea that once I create something, I find out all the things that it took, and then I teach you how to do things too. But let's get into this, how to protect yourself, protect your income, and continue to have a good time, even in the face of Corona. We're not going to let Corona win. But get this. Here's the number one thing that I want to say to you guys. If you're sick, stay your tail at home. I can't say this loudly enough. If you're not feeling well, please don't bring it to the office. I can tell you, I was at a coffee shop the other day, and this is the funniest thing. A guy sneezed, and he was just playing around, right? He sneezed as if he were, sick, I guess, into his shoulder or into his sleeve. He sneezed into his sleeve, and I can tell you the whole place stopped and looked right at him. Right? So you don't want to be that guy, you know what I mean? Just playing around could get you thrown out of your favorite coffee shop, I can tell you that. So one of the things we just want to say, hey, look, if you're not feeling well, stay your butt at home. You're not going to help anybody by going around doing all these different things. And we're going to talk about some strategies and talk about a couple of things that you can do and still get stuff done even if you're at home. All right, let's get going. So when you're at home, you might start thinking about these things, right? You're going to be thinking to yourself, hey, where can I get some cash? What can I do? Now that you have some time on your hands, you might have a lot of those thoughts going through your mind. And I can tell you, with this time off, I got friends that are taking time off and friends that actually have been given time off because they have closed so many things. In fact, my wife, she was at a conference doing some volunteer work, and they told her, look, we've got to cancel this event. Once it came down from the governor that they were closing anything that was going to attract 250 people or so, they had to shut it down. Now, I understand that means that a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. That means a lot of things are going to happen. Oh my gosh, it's going to be tough, right? So we want to talk about some of these strategies that you can utilize so that cash flow still comes in even if you're home from work. Okay? All right, let's get going. Here's one that I was thinking about. I thought about, man, what are churches going to do? Pastors, a lot of pastors, they get their income from the Sunday service, right? I mean, hey, the Sunday service pays everyone's bills, right? So if you're not having Sunday service, because guess what? A lot of churches have more than 250 people that come to the church. And, we love our pastor, but guess what? Even if the church says amen, if there's no one in the pews and no one, in the seats, well, guess what? Churches are going to have a time paying the bills. Now, that's going to be tough. That's going to put a lot of pressure on folks. But again, we want you to stay healthy. We want you to stay wealthy, and you definitely have to be wise on this case, right? So what we're going to talk about is how pastors can maybe, keep the parishioners interested and maybe keep some cash coming in. We'll get to that in a minute. But what if you are a teacher, right? Now, some of the teachers have contracts that allow them to be off and they still get paid, right? Those are maybe the salaries. But what I was concerned about was the paraprofessionals, the people that walk alongside the teachers, that help the teachers out. If they're hourly, what about the security guards? If they're hourly, what about the crossing guards? If they're hourly, they may be affected by this coronavirus keeping everybody at home. So that's going to be an issue that we've got to start dealing with, right? And I want to talk a little bit about that, but let's find out who else might be affected by this. I can tell you, if you're trying to get your woosah on, I have seen some of my yoga clients are going to be affected by this. Now, I've been talking with them and talking through some strategies on how they can continue on with their classes, but just in a little bit a different way. But what about contractors, right? I mean, there's a lot of buildings going up right now. We've been in a building boom for the last 10 or 12 years. But guess what? You got a lot of workers that just aren't coming to work. Some of those workers have to stay home with their kids because a lot of schools have been closed. Now you are getting an opportunity to see who might be affected by this. A whole bunch of folks, right? And it is all over the map. Doesn't matter if you are a teacher or if you are a yoga instructor or if you're a business person. A lot of places are being told you work your tail from home. And that can have a lot of effects on a lot of different things, right? What about parking? You have the parking meters that have been put up. People aren't parking. People aren't paying. That has a effect across the board. And you guys can see it's going to affect everybody. So what strategies can we come up with that starts talking to how to earn money despite the 9 to 5? Your hard-earned savings could be affected. Isn't that important, right? Because you have saved up how long? Years and years and years, right? And for the last 10, 12 years, it's been all good. Your hard-earned savings now are under attack. They're going to be under attack simply because you're going to have a lot of the places saying, hey, listen, we understand this coronavirus, but we still need our money. Why? Because they have shareholders. They've got stakeholders. They have people that are relying on their money. They've got their stock prices. Hence the reason why we have seen the stock market go to heck in a handbasket, right? It has just been getting crushed simply because they understand that this thing is going to affect businesses. It has affected businesses throughout the world. businesses have been affected simply because, hey, factories are being shut down. You've seen China had a significant amount of factories being shut down. Well, some of that stuff was coming over here. Some of the things that are in port can't come in port. Why? Because we can't inspect them and we can't, test them for the virus and all that kind of stuff. We have to go through all of that to get there. So guess what's going to be affected? Your hard-earned savings, right? You can see the piggy here. The piggy is saying, I'm going to do everything I can to protect it. But at the same time, if nothing's coming in, then eventually some of those dollars are going to slip from underneath the Mr. Piggy, as you can see. But he's doing everything he can to save you. But that may not be enough. The coronavirus is a thief. The coronavirus basically says, hey, I don't care who I affect because I have a job to do. Now, we have to stop this thief from stealing our possibilities, right? We have to do everything that we can to stop this thief from stealing the things that we have worked so hard to protect. And again, it doesn't care what it's doing. It just says, hey, I'm a virus. I affect people. This is what happens. But we now start saying to ourselves, what are some practical steps? So let's get into some of those practical steps. Here's the number one thing that you can start doing right away. And I suggest that you do this, right after you get off this video. Start doing this. Number one, call your creditors. Some of the creditors out there are helping people out. We've heard of stories, and those are really commendable. But remember, they have to pay their bills too, and it may be a whole bunch of paperwork that you have to sign. We don't know, but you want to call their creditors right away and say, hey, listen, I'm a paraprofessional. I'm a yoga instructor. I am having some difficulty with this. I have some difficulties paying. A lot of places are helping people out, but you know what? The ones that are hiding still, you may have to call them. You may have to say, hey, listen, Mr. Creditor, Mrs. Creditor, I can't pay you because my income has been affected by this darn coronavirus. It's stealing my money. It's stealing my opportunity. I had a couple other people that were going to retire. Some of my clients, they were going to retire soon, right? And I'm telling you, they're going to be affected tremendously because thousands and thousands of dollars have been wiped out because the market has crashed and hit, its lows. It hasn't been this low in certain cases, or it hasn't had a one-time drop in some cases since 1987. Now that's just killer. 1987, you know how long ago that's been? And it is affecting everybody. So one of the things that you can do is call your creditors and, start having conversation with them. Start telling them, hey, listen, I'm in trouble here, give me a break. And I think they will work with you, but be proactive and give them a call. Here's another one. Save gas. Stay home, right? I understand you're going to be bored. You're going to be in the house. Kids are going to be running around because they don't have school. Boy, that's going to be looking, pretty dim. But stay home. You now have the opportunity to have just about everything you could possibly want delivered to you. Right? Why go in the store when you could just have it delivered, right? And again, if you have this extra time on your hand, well, this extra time may give you a shot at doing some of the things you haven't thought about doing in a long time. But in the meantime, if you're not running around, you're saving gas. And if you just have people deliver stuff to you, whether it's your food or your items, all that is possible now. You've got Grubhub, you've got Uber Eats, you've got, Postmates, you've got so many different things that you can, people you can call up and say, hey, listen, bring this stuff to me. And again, of course, you want to worry about the people that are bringing your stuff. You can tell them, hey, look, wear some gloves. When you bring my stuff, I want you to put it on the porch and it better be you better have your gloves on. And I'll tip you through the app. So these are the possibilities. It's just a couple of things that you can do right here that will save you some time and, save you from having to go out and expose yourself, and or if you are have come down with it, exposing others to the virus. Have stuff delivered. Here's another one. This is the one I can talk about forever and ever, right? I own companies and I own websites and blogs that sell stuff online. And I'm telling you, not only can you sell, but you can buy online, right? I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, and you can too. But what about on the sell side? We want to talk about how I make some money, right? If you learn to sell online, you can make some money, right? Now, of course, I can't guarantee you're going to make money, but the point is that there's a lot of things that you can now start presenting as possibilities to present to other folks that may, give you their credit card, and you can now start a new business for yourself, right? Hey, you got time. This might be the exact time to sell online. Oh, that kind of rhymes. This might be the exact time to sell online. But that's a possibility. That's an opportunity for you to get some cash coming in, right? Now, it's going to take some tools. It's going to take learning some techniques. It's going to take learning some things. But guess what? You now have this time, because a lot of these jobs are closed, to do just that, to start that little online business. Now, I've got some classes and some courses that I teach on this stuff, and I'll leave some of that in the description field for you. But I'm telling you, here's that opportunity to figure out how to sell online. Because get this, if you can sell online, then you don't have to go out of the house at all. Now you can use that time that you're learning in certain cases and that you're applying the things that you learn in other cases to your new venture. Never know. You might not go back to the 9-to-5 job. In fact, I was meeting with a guy the other day, and I had suspended all my own meetings. I had suspended the meetings, and I decided I was going to do everything virtual. But he was really close to my house, so I thought, I might go ahead and check it and see if we can go ahead and meet, right? But one of the first things I said to him, I says, listen, I sent it by text. I says, show me your Corona score, and maybe we can meet. Now, there is no Corona score, but I started thinking, man, wait a minute. What if a enterprising entrepreneur could come up with a way that he can show someone's not credit score, but their Corona score, right? You put it up on the phone and says, hey, my Corona score is 0. Let's meet. Imagine that, right? Well, now that's going to take some enterprising entrepreneur a little bit of work, but I'm just saying, this may be where we're at right now. It may be a point where when people are, canceling whole conferences and canceling, gatherings of over 250 people or just not wanting to meet with folks, these become the opportunities that arise from a bad situation, and these opportunities can put money in your pocket, right? So let's learn to sell online. I'll put in the description field again some of the things that I do, some of the tools that I use, and then if you want to work with me at the end of this video, what I do is I leave you a way to get in touch with me, and we can do a consulting, and I can tell you, no matter what area of work that you do, some ways that maybe you can create opportunities and then get online and sell those opportunities to people that might need them. That becomes where we're at right now. Okay, so that becomes the deal. Learn to sell online. This is the time. We all have been wanting to do something extra. I have a whole podcast on it called the Earn Every Dime Online Show. I talk about this all the time. Outside of the traditional 9-to-5, learning things and ways to sell outside of the traditional 9-to-5. But listen, we don't only have that as an opportunity that we can do. Now, this next one may not be as sexy as just getting online and selling right now, but here are some other things that you can do. Other cash producing stuff that you can do. Let's think about this. Let's think about some of the things that you have been wanting to do for I don't know how long, but you haven't gotten to it. Why is that? Well, you may have not gotten to it because opportunity didn't present itself. And again, some people are living check to check. Some companies are living invoice to invoice. Now we have to think about other ways to get after our bills and other ways to earn, right? So here's just a couple that may help you. And it seems a little counterintuitive, but trust me here. Stay with me. And I'll tell you how you can do it. Diving in to that book that you've been thinking about. Now, here's where I'm getting at. Dive in. Words are fine. That's what I put on the slide here. But take a look. It is about getting into the book and books that you may have on your Kindle. You got time now. This is where I'm getting at. We're just going to be utilizing the time that we have, but then we want to find ways to create from it. And this is what I help people do all the time, whether it's on the Earn Every Dime Online Show or through some of my Monetize Your Life initiatives. It is saying, okay, if you always wanted to get after that book, go ahead and dive in, check it out. But at the same time, here's how you can potentially create some money from it. What if you created a review right? What if you reviewed that book and then you sold the reviews? Yes, wait a minute. I don't want to read 700 pages, but if you did, took notes, and then reviewed it for us, and the stuff made sense, you condensed it down, right? You put it in some kind of audio program. That might be interesting. I'd like to listen to that, right? Who wants to read 500 pages, except you, of course. And but I would like to maybe listen to this. You see this stuff on Amazon all the time. Somebody has done a summary of a very popular book. Then they take that summary and they put that summary online. Couldn't you do the same thing? I can teach you all this stuff. Don't worry about it. But you could do that as a way to now take the time that you have and turn it into something that can pay you. That's the whole idea. So from a book, you may be able to earn some bucks. That would be awesome, right? Here's another thing. Dusting off those money-making ideas. Come on now. If you're like me, you've probably got a pile somewhere. You got drawers. You got stuff laying around that, I'm going to do this one day when I get time. Well, now you got time to take those ideas and try to create from them. I tell you, at the end of this video, I'm going to leave you my name, my number, my email address, all the places where you can get in touch with me. And I'll show you how you can take those ideas and start having an impact and then maybe some income from them, right? If you've got enough money and you just want to make an impact, I get that. That's awesome. I can show you how to do that as well. Give me a call. I'm going to leave all that information for you. And if you're checking this out on YouTube, I don't know how you're seeing this information. If I send it on one of my other platforms or LinkedIn or somewhere like that, or some of my channels on Facebook, however you get this information, give me a call and let's set up something. We'll do it virtually. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Let's do it virtually. And what I'll do is I'll walk you through how you start creating from these ideas. And I can, hash out some of the other things. But as I promised, I want to talk to you about how we're going to help the pastors and how we're going to help the people that typically have folks coming in. Now, here's the big idea. You are going to do things in a virtual way, right? Imagine if you had your videographer, someone with a camera, someone with a phone that came and you can go through the same course or same Bible verse, whatever you're going to be going through, you're just going to record it. Now, what we have to do is take what we normally would do and say it a little differently, right? I'll give you an example how I've been affected by this. I typically teach 2 nights a week and then I teach online all the time, right? Well, the on the line stuff is still going good, but the 2 days a week that I teach, people aren't not going to come to the program simply because they've been told to stay home, right? They've been told to stay home because until this thing passes over or until we kind of figure some stuff out, some protocols or whatever, we want people to stay safe, right? So now that takes that opportunity off the table. And it's typically a 3-hour class each night. Now, people aren't going to listen to you for 3 hours, so you're going to have to condense and stuff. But that becomes an opportunity for you to figure out how to engage, how to figure out how to excite, how to figure out how you're going to present the material to folks, get it to them, right? Doesn't matter if you're a yoga instructor, you can do the same thing. You can be at the studio by yourself, doing the moves, keeping people engaged, making sure that they do it, and then, keeping them obviously safe and all that good stuff, right? If you have some kind of fitness routine that, makes people have to put something in their ceiling, you don't want that kind of stuff, right? So you better put your disclaimers in there. But the point is that you can keep them engaged by doing it at home, and they're just going to be doing it virtually. You're going to deliver it to them in their email, or you're going to send it on a channel or a membership page, whatever it takes, so that they stay engaged with you and you can continue to earn. You put a pay button in there and says, hey, this class is going to be reduced or it's going to be more, or however you want to do it. And then they click in it, they get into the membership page and they pay you, right? Now, with the donation side on the church, right? Same concept. You go through the Bible, you're going to be talking about the things would normally be talking about, getting them all excited. It's just you in the pews, right? So your videographer or whomever you decided to record you is going to just watch you do this thing, and then he's going to package it or she's going to package it maybe put some intro and some outros, all things that I can show you how to do very, very quickly so you can make sure that this happens. And you can still now engage your parishioners, engage your members. That's what it comes down to. That's what we're talking about. And I can tell you, if you can do some of these things, you can maybe, during the time that you're off, keep your money flowing. Keep a little bit coming in until you can get back in the swing of things. But think about those number ones, the number 2 and number 3 things. You want to call those creditors. You want to make sure that you get a little bit of relief there, right? You want to save gas by having people deliver stuff to you, right? You want to now, and you can absolutely dust off these great ideas, get after some of these things that you've been wanting to do for a long, long time, and find ways to now sell those ideas online. It's all possible for you. It's all stuff that I help people do every single day. It's stuff that I get up every morning excited to do myself, right? Let's talk about this. I'm going to leave you all the information that you need to have this information come to you easily online. We can FaceTime, we can Skype, and we can Zoom. We can do all those things. All that's possible. But here it is. Here's the information. What I strongly suggest you do, because I tell you, my phone's been ringing off the hook and my calendar has been filling up. So I'm going to leave this information for you so you can start doing the things that you need to do to keep that cash flow coming in and to protect yourself during this crisis that we're having, this corona crisis. We want to do everything we can to keep the coronavirus from affecting our cash flow. So here it is. Reach me here. You got my phone number, 616-214-9906. My email address is randy@Otterbridgebusinessinstitute.com. That's Otterbridge, RBRIDGE, businessinstitute.com. And then, of course, there's more stuff. I've got courses out there that you can check out during this time that you're off. Figure out how to do some stuff. You can get your how-to here. That's at bit.ly/Randy Link. And let me just tell you, this is a time that we have to protect ourselves, but this is also a time that there may be opportunities presenting itself. Let's not miss out on those. All right. I hope you have a good time and you enjoy the rest of your time off. Hopefully you're not sick. And if you are, get well, bro. Right. And if this time off provides you with another opportunity to do some different things that you haven't done before, I wish you well with it, and I'll do everything I can to help you. All right. We'll talk to you soon.